It is
Nice to chat with
still a
you.
hot market out there, isn't it?
It is. It is. I can't believe that it's the end of January already. It's been a long one, but we are still very much in a seller's market, and we have a significant lack of inventory here in the Ottawa area.
Yeah.
I think that people are getting, I think the attitudes are really, my house no longer fits my needs, and or we've been waiting. And so the lack of inventory has been significant. In addition to the fact, though, that understand, even though, and I say it time and time again, realtors do not like this market. We absolutely do not. And yet we are doing everything we can for those who are considering getting on the market. We have a lot of COVID precautions that are happening, specifically the fact that there are no open houses. They have been banned here in Ottawa, and I believe by the whole Ontario Real Estate Board.
Okay. Is that just during the lockdown, Colleen, like the stay-at-home orders? Do we know once that is lifted, would open houses be allowed again?
We don't believe so. They haven't been allowed for quite a long time. I think we would only allow them once that we have that we go back into the orange state where restaurants are open and so forth. And yet personally, I think during this time, and everyone is different, it's just not a time for my sellers and my buyers to expose themselves. So my team and my brokerage, myself, I run my own brokerage, and therefore right now I do not see open houses happening anytime soon for everyone's safety.
But people are still buying homes, right? Does that mean they're buying them just by looking at them virtually?
There are some that are doing so. There are some great, it's a great question, Annette. There are definitely apps that we are using and that we're teaching our realtors to use in regards to making sure that they have opportunity to visit a home virtually. We have,
All right.
We have a lot of.
Colleen, do we still have you there?
Do we still have me?
Okay, we still have you, Colleen. We can't see you, but we can still hear you. So I'll continue that conversation with you. You were talking about the fact that we can still buy a house even if you can't go in for an open house, which is shocking to me. But again, at the same time, there's really great pictures online, and people are putting out the best of their homes, staging them still, putting their best foot forward, if you will. And so that's creating a space for people to still be interested enough and make that purchase.
Absolutely. So because we have such a great demand for people coming outside of the province or even in the core of the Toronto area and surrounding, I was talking to an out-of-town buyer yesterday from Calgary, and they wanted to move back into Ottawa. And I simply said, well, for you to jump on a plane, then go into 2-week quarantine, etc., does not make the best use of your time. So we can use some great apps that are out there that will allow you to virtually view a home, and people are choosing that way for safety as well as convenience.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and of course, if anyone has questions, now's the time to get them to Colleen. There's our information. When we come back, we're going to look at a question coming in, Colleen, from David via email. He writes, why would I sell in this market if I would then need to buy something else at these inflated prices?
Great question, Annette, and thank you, David. It's a question that we hear a lot of, and I think I would go back to David and find out what his motivation is to sell. The biggest thing about selling in this market, and we talk about it frequently, is the fact that we need to find out why you need to sell. If you are looking to downsize, I think it's a great time to sell, and yet what is your motivation? Absolutely that when you sell, you absolutely need to buy. And where is that going? A lot of baby boomers are selling the big home and moving to the cottage, and that makes a lot of sense. In David's particular, I would have one of my agents talk to him and say, David, you probably have a lot more in your home than you think. With absolutely. I disagree when people say it's inflated. I've always said here on the show that we're just simply having a market correction. Ottawa is finally getting recognition for the amazing town that we are.
Yeah.
Yet the fact is, absolutely, Ottawa is so steady and does not have the influx that Vancouver, Toronto, or Montreal has. And so we're just simply having a market correction. So, David, if you want to move, then you should sit down with a full-time professional realtor and come up with a game plan in regards to what it means to move forward. So it's a great question. It's just very multifaceted and multi-layered for so many people.
Okay, Colleen, I know one of the things you say, even in these times where homes are selling like this, you still have to stage them. That can make a big difference on the bottom line as to what you get. We've got some examples of the work you've done with before and afters. Walk us through this picture, Colleen.
Okay, so absolutely. People think that you can just put a sign on the lawn. Absolutely not. So we're going to dive right into it. So this particular townhome, as you can see, I'm sure some people are like, OMG. But this was a beautiful, it's only 3-year-old townhome that had a gorgeous hardwood staircase, but it was tenanted and it was absolutely full of clutter and mismatched furniture. This is exactly the opposite of how you want to present your front entrance, because understand your first impression is made within 15 seconds or less. So the staging plan for this, and I want to reach out, I want to say thank you to Heather from Restyled Spaces who works with our team and provides great service to our clients.
Yeah.
The fact is that this staging property involved hiring a junk removal system, a company that helps clean out the clutter.
Yeah.
The owner himself also invested in painting and patching holes. And as you can see, with the home completely empty, and freshly painted, you can see that this home draws you in, doesn't it?
It's a totally different looking place.
It absolutely is. And the fact is that it was set up to complement the layout. It's a great layout.
Yeah.
And the impact from the first impression, it included new area carpet, artwork, and accessories to pull everything together.
Okay, let's move on to our next one because there's some other things you can do that you shouldn't forget. Walk us through this picture, Colleen.
Okay, so this was a great home. It was under construction, so I know that people are like, well, it doesn't look great because it's under construction. Yet the plan was this, to envision rooms what they could look like. And so this was owned by a property investment, and it was how to tackle how buyers would experience walking through the spaces. So as you can see, I mean, it's such a beautiful home.
Beautiful.
Each room should be set up in regards to the style and the scale and the color. At the end, we created a multi-functional living and dining area anchored by that beautiful, accent wall. But it was very functional. The other home wasn't functional. And as you can see, for all these homes, for the small investment that it would take, you will see a large rate of return for whether you're going to sell or just invest in the home that you're in right now.
All right, we have some more pictures we're going to get to after we take a quick break. If you have any questions for Colleen, get them to us right now. 613-417-3599, ColleenLyle.com. All right, Colleen, we've got an email coming in, another one from a viewer this morning, with a really great question, I think, because she is waiting for a new build. So here it is. Anu writes, I bought a new build that is supposed to be ready in May. Not sure if it will be delayed. When should I list my current home?
It's a great question. We're hearing it all the time. And so with new builds, I always err on caution and say it probably will be. It depends who your builder is. Some builders have trades that are solely with them, and then there are other builders that are currently walking off the job because they don't want to get fined. And so I would have constant conversations with your builder and find out exactly if they expect a delay or not. Quite possible that you will. I definitely would recommend that, depending on what kind of home that you were selling, that you look at 30 to 60 days for your sale closing, in addition to the fact that a lot of people don't realize that to carry two homes is actually not that expensive. So to do bridge financing, it's not two mortgages, but it's actually interest-only payments. And so again, I would encourage you, reach out to my team or your realtor and say, what does this look like? Because it may be more manageable than you think. A lot of people feel very heavy with that conversation. A lot of people are buying the new builds, but definitely your closing, I expect, will more than likely will get delayed.
All right, let's get to some more pictures for staging in this time. Our next one is an example of how minor details, minor updates rather, can really make a big difference. Walk us through this one, Colleen.
So this was actually my listing. It was a great home in Canada, and it was a home that didn't sell the first time. And as you can see, it was a beautiful home, and yet the kitchen did not match the rest of the house. As you can see here, it had a very beautiful blue tile kitchen and everything else, and had a pretty Mexican kind of flair, and it was very lovely on its own, but didn't match the rest of the house. And they tried to sell the first time, and they were on the market for 3 months and did not sell. And so when they came to me, I urged them to make a change. And as you can see, that is the change that we made. Again, thank you so much to Heather at Restyled Spaces. This is what we do. And I'm so proud. This home, as you can see, it's brighter.
Yeah, was that a big investment?
It was not. Actually, that home, just for the kitchen, because of some of the contacts we had, that kitchen only cost them $4,000 to fix up.
Wow. A whole new looking kitchen.
Well, it was the counters and the backsplash to elevate, and as you can see, the kitchen itself being a very large, beautiful kitchen. You couldn't see it in that picture, but that home actually had 2 islands. And so it was a large, beautiful home in Canada Lakes. And yet just from that minor change with the herringbone backsplash, just brought the home to another level. And so with that investment, again, they could not sell for 3 months before. And with that minor investment of $4,000 in the kitchen, now we did a lot other, but that kitchen alone, I always tell people, invest in your kitchen, invest in your kitchen. We sold that home in 12 hours.
Wow.
Full ask.
Colleen, I'm not surprised. Great time to be calling a realtor right now. I know a lot of people think, oh, spring, spring, spring. Whether you're thinking about now or later, no matter what, give a realtor a call and have a conversation about where things are at.
Absolutely. This is not the time to wait for spring. Spring, people say, I'm going to wait till the spring. I mean, sometimes it depends on your property, and the fact that it may be a home, you might have a pool, and therefore you should sell in the spring. Yet really create a plan now. I always tell people, even if you think you are going to sell in October, if you're going to sell in July, you need to engage us now so that we can make sure that the plan is made so that you get the most money for because at the end of the day, you're emotionally invested. Everyone thinks that their home is perfect, and yet we all, especially living in our homes, have slight improvements that we should do in order to make that move easier, less painful, and of course, it's all about the bottom dollar for a lot of people.
Certainly is. All right, Colleen, as always, thank you so much. Appreciate your expertise. Colleen Lyle, Real Estate Brokerage. There's all the information on your screen. If you'd like to give Colleen a shout, she can help you out with buying or selling a home.